So tell me about the fact, and I love this, you do not have social media on your phone.
I don't, yeah. It's like I said, it's very bittersweet. Let me just sip this water.
Please, hydrate.
We tried it for like a week where you
But it's hard.
erased it. It's so hard to keep that.
I erased it, and then I had Ela checking it for me.
Yeah.
I feel like it must be even harder with you guys because, it's such a core, like, direct to...
Right.
It's part of the job.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel like for me, it really was a part of the job. I think for any up-and-coming artist it is, and I'm just not an up-and-coming artist anymore.
Mm.
And because of that, so many people are aware.
You don't need it really anymore.
Yeah, but it's like I want it though. Like I want to be able to, because it used to be a safe haven. It used to be a place that I could go to and people could genuinely have like conversations. Now it's like if you drop a song, first of all, anything that's new, people like freak out about. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like I remember Astro World came out and I love that album, and there was all these people like it's not as good as Rodeo and blah blah blah, and then it becomes this huge thing and everybody loves it. And I liked it out the gate, but it's like that's the world we live in now. Everybody feels like they write for Rolling Stone who has a Twitter account. They feel the need to say something, and I feel like people more so enjoy pointing out the things they don't like. But it's sickening because we, as the artists and the creatives, are drawn to the negativity. For example, if I did a post and it had 1 million likes on Instagram or something, but it had 30,000 or 50,000 comments, but out of those 50,000, maybe 5,000 were like truly negative comments. One, it's like, why am I so focused on this loud minority? That's the gnarly part about it. Because, dude, there's 1 million people who liked it and didn't even have to say shit about it. But it's just, it's the feeling and the wanting of acceptance. But that was a big, dark place for me. I got off it because it was making me depressed.
Right.
Every time I went on social media, it was a truly negative experience of like, you suck, or you're whack, or you're this, or you're that, or just so many negative things. And it's like, damn.
Sucks you in.
Yeah.
I've heard it described, I think Jordan Peterson, I asked him, why do we, or maybe it was my therapist, I don't remember. But I said, why is it that we focus on these negative ones? And it was described to me as it's an evolutionary thing where you want to identify the danger and you want to identify the weak points in your character or where the danger or the criticism is.
Yeah.
Because that's the stuff that puts you at risk. So from an evolutionary standpoint, those are the things you are trying to identify.
That's insane. I've never
things
thought
that
about
are
it.
put you at right. So
Yeah.
there's kind of an explanation for why we seek those out.
Yeah.
But see, that stuff doesn't serve us well anymore.
But so many times, I'm not even kidding, like 99% of the times that I either investigate it or have said something, because that's the part that also sucked, is like I never did it really bad, but somebody could hate on me. They could say something like I had like a funny line about Fortnite in this last song I did, Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, I don't play no games unless we talking Fortnite. It's just like not a big deal. And a year ago, I had like kind of teased the song, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is crazy, that Fortnite line, blah blah blah," and it actually didn't come out till a year later.
Right.
And then you have all these people like, "Oh, I turned it off after the Fortnite line," and it's like that is so idiotic. First of all, we all know you didn't turn it off. You played it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's like it's just so funny that people just want to like cling on to this like negative stuff. It's really odd to me.
Well, and also an important distinction for myself when thinking about these stuff is that these are people having a conversation about you, not with you.
Yeah.
You know how you talk about people when they're not in the room? You say stuff that you don't necessarily mean.
Of course.
Right.
You say stuff that you would never say to them. You say stuff that you would be so embarrassed and
It's
apologetic.
like The Bachelor.
Right?
I'm gonna be honest. Guilty pleasure here.
Dude, I need to watch The Bachelor.
I watched
We
it.
don't
You
watch
would
it.
love it.
Oh my God.
love it.
It took me. I am so into reality.
But do you
television
watch
now.
90 Day Fiancé?
90 Day Fiance?
Bro, that's the trashiest
Because
shit
that's the real
on the
shit.
planet.
Really?
That's our
Okay.
jam.
I'll have to check it
They're
out.
2 hours long, bro.
Oh my God. But my point is, it's like, I rip those girls apart. I'm like in my bed, I'm like, this chick's fucking crazy. This chick, like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, if you say these things, but they're not like, I would never actually.
Exactly.
But
Can you
that's what the
imagine
shows are
saying
for.
it to them to their
And she was
face?
in the
But I
room.
would never do that.
You
But
would
here's the
never.
thing.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I would never tweet something like that. Like even take like logic out of it. I'm not the type of person who would open my phone at that person and be like, "You're psycho."
I think those. First of all, that's because you're sane and well-adjusted.
I mean, relatively.
Relatively. Yeah. I'll say the same for myself. But these are people that don't ever expect that you would actually read that.
Now, here's the gnarly shit, and this is why I don't respond, because I've done it in the past, and somebody will say something like that Fortnite line, and they're like, "Oh, it's so terrible," blah blah blah, and I was like, I wrote that line because I thought Fortnite was kind of fun, and
it was a year ago. You were playing Fortnite.
Yeah, and it's really... and so I just said the line, "Would you rather me rap about something that I don't like and that isn't myself?" And they're like, "Yeah, that makes so much sense. Hey, bro, can I have some tickets to your show?" Like it turns into this thing.
Always.
So it's very like there's the 1% that will stick to their guns and be like, "Fuck you, you fucking asshole." Like, yeah, it's pretty rare. But I've yet to ever have like anybody like in my face say some shit, because it's the thing is everybody knows I can rap and everybody knows there's substance in my music and I talk about shit from the heart. It just is what it is. Like you could be like, "Oh, that Keanu Reeves." Like somebody tried to say it was glorified mumble rap, and I'm like, this is hilarious. Like that we're just in this place where people, but they have their own opinions, and what I've learned is it's art. Like back in the day, you'd have kings, and sorry, I keep feeling like I'm only talking to him, but it's only
no, not at all.
It's fine.
No, but there's like there was kings in the like Renaissance and all this that would commission these artists, and some of these artists would paint like men having sex or women together or this these things that these artists would be murdered over. And it's kind of no different today as far as social media and just in general. Like your art is not yours anymore when you release it. It's just not. It's just not yours. And at the end of the day, this loud minority could say things like, "Oh, it's not the same," or "It's not the this," or "It's not the that," and it's like, well, then stop listening to my music. Stop coming to my concerts. Stop giving me millions of dollars and buying my merchandise. Stop doing all these things. But the thing is those aren't really the people who are.
They're not. They're not.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But another thing that I kind of accepted is that no matter who you are or what you're doing, when it gets to a certain scale, there's just a statistical inevitability that there's only a certain amount of people that are going to hate you and not like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if everybody loves you, first of all, it's just impossible.
100%.
But when you get to a certain scale, there's going to be people that are contrarian. I mean, that's all it is. They're just
everything.
contrarian.
One of the gnarliest things I think I ever saw on the internet was a comment for Kendrick Lamar's Humble. And he says, what does he say? Like, "Show me something real," or something like ass with some stretch marks.
Without the Photoshop.
Yeah, without the Photoshop. Yeah. And so I love that line because it's basically saying like, real natural women. Sure, some women look like goddesses, but there's other women who just got a little thick and they got some stretch marks or what it is. And he's like, "I don't want the fake. I want the real. I don't want the facade." And so I saw some comment that was like, "How dare you with your sexual fetishes of stretch marks and you're objectifying women." And I'm like, bro, so gnarly.
Dude, you cannot say anything.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't say anything.
You can't say anything.
I think, honestly, being off social media is the right play because and I think
I'm happier.
What you're tapping into, it applies to normal people almost as much because,
100%.
Dude, when everything on social media is so depressing. Oh my God, on Instagram, everybody looks. I know this is like a well-trodden comment, but it's so true that everybody, you see them at their best, you see them at their happiest, you see them with their best clothes, on vacation, in front of a mural with their friends.
Just wait for my album.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I get so,
I'd love to hear it.
I find myself thinking a lot about it because we're going to have a kid, and now kids have smartphones from a really young age, and I wonder, like, I see how it affects us, and we're adults. And it really affects us. I wonder what is it like for a kid now.
It's changing their brain.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is I was looking at other artists years ago, not as of recently, but I was looking at like, damn, like how come he gets more likes? How come he gets this? How come I'm selling out shows way bigger than him or her or this or that, and then it becomes this like nasty thing
that ain't right.
Where you're and now I'm like, man, anybody who's winning, I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care the type of music. Like if you're talking about like bitches and hoes, it's like, hey man, nobody's at the club like fucking listening to Nas is Illmatic, like in the club. Like we listen to Nas because we want to, provoke our thoughts and like really digest that shit with like a, bomb weed strain. But like when you're in the club, like, yeah, you want to listen to Post. You want to listen to, whoever's popping. Like that's what you want. And there's a time and place for it. But also there's this negative way of thinking because, like I'm excited. I'm working on this soundtrack now for my novel. And it's all like, it's hard to explain. It's definitely like some indie shit. It's like indie and singing, and it's really awesome. And it's a story of love about Shredder, about just the main character and how he falls in love with this woman and all this other stuff, whatever. And
if we're talking about Supermarket, we should talk about that.
My novel.
Yeah,
which I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
When I was young, I was like, yo, singing is whack. Like, if you sing it on your track, like, that shit is garbage, son. Like, this is me at, like, 17 years old. And I couldn't sing at all. And as I got older, like I said, I wanted to challenge myself, not just doing rap album after rap album. Like, I want to do different things. And I want to grow. And so I started, singing and doing different things. But the funny thing is, there's no fucking way that anybody would be like, yo, singing is garbage. If they had a voice like Adele,
right,
but they're listening to like the most underground hip hop, are they really gonna say, "I'm not gonna sing like an angel" because that shit's whack?
So lame.
Yeah, but it's just these people that are so in their own box and their own thing. It's the same shit. Like when Drake came out, everybody was clowning him for singing. I was clowning him. I was like, "What is this singing shit?" And then I'm like, "Oh shit, it's the best I ever had." Like because I was just so underground and idiotic, and like Drake inspires me to be a better artist. So.